Hey everyone, this is Colin on the ASCA League channel, and here we are for the Pennzoil Pro Series, Race 7 at Road America. We are here Race 7 rather than Race 5 this season, as it is not earlier in the year, but later. However, this year we have some experience at a road course. Last week we were just at Canadian Tire. This week we are at another road course. Let's see how the drivers can handle two road courses in a row. Anyways, you saw the point standings. Brian Boone and Eric Willis tied on points with 207 points. Jay Durrel, though, the favorite coming into this race, right behind with only 3 points back. And as we get to your starting lineup, you can see that Jay Durrel is actually right on the outside of the front row. Jack Newman took the pole position as Jack caught the quickest lap. Daniel Voiles and Aaron Lukes make up row 2. Row 3, Derek Petrie and Kyle Singer, two big motorsports drivers, and both had respectable runs last week. Row 4, Ryan Dunn and Blaine Keys. Dunn's been kind of lurking around in the points. Row 5, Sam Rogers, 4th in points, and Cody Russell on his outside. Row 6, Nicholas Samudio, a pretty sleepy year so far for the 62, but not doing too bad, and Michael Jones on his outside. Row 7, Brian Lenning needs to pick his season up, and Eric Willis tied for the lead in points. Row 8, Nikita Riskov, who needs a break, and Brian Boone, your points leader and last week's winner. Row 9, Brock McMahon and Zach Komoski in the 88, looking for a better race here this race. Row 10, Zach Cars and Kyle Collins. Zach Carr, part of FSFR, needs a better run this week. Stuart Gratton and Webster Zygarde, two Australians again. I believe that's the second week in a row they start in the same row with Stun in the 11th row. Addison Steinbeck and Nick Purcell's in row 12. Jose Vaquez, last year's Rookie of the Year, and Jay Bark will be in row 13. Cole Baker, row 14, as well as Carson Scott. Row 15, John Gilbert and Daniel Maxwell, the two drivers that probably need to start picking up here in the season. Row 16, Jesse Dalton and Joseph Wrigley, two Canadians. Row 17, Rick Witt deep in the field, and Matthew Brown was outside. Row 18, Ryan Kendall and Arsh Hussain, the National Racing driver, needs to start picking it up here. Row 19, Haley Wish and John Cittadino, the 45. Row 20, James Johnson and Tony Green, the other Global Autosports driver, both the Global Autosports cars in the field. And Cody Smart covering for the 52 team this week, and Cesar Chavez, a disappointing qualifying effort for them, but they made it to the field. There was the people that didn't qualify, and here we go. Green flag is in the air as we are going to thunder down into turn 1. Derek Petrie with a huge move trying to get to the inside of the 7 car. However, to no avail. Durrell will pull ahead of your race leader, though. And Jay Durrel, just like he did last year, will lead coming out of turn 2. And that is not good for anyone behind him, because you do not want to see that Australian flagged car up front. However, will we see a repeat winner? I believe the only repeat winner we've ever seen in this series has been Daniel Voiles at Texas, but I could be wrong about that. You see cars going down into turn 3. This has been a trouble point. It looks like the front of the field gets through. Well, the two National Racing cars. Oh, and there's some cars behind. Like I said, that is a trouble point. I saw Jose Vaquez, and that was not what he wanted to see. He was actually gaining in points a lot. He was up to 9th, and now he's off at the cement, off paving in the back. But Jack Newman will take over 2nd. Aaron Lukes in 3rd. Derek Petrie made that brave move on the restart in 4th. And Daniel Voiles and Ryan Dunn are going to file back in 5th and 6th. Kyle Singer you see in 7th. Nicholas Samudio not too bad in 8th. Blaine Keys and Sam Rogers will round out the top 10 in the field. But as for the 99 team, they want a good race here because last week it could have been a little better. I'm just putting that lightly. The 11 team, you see, doesn't want to blow up this week. For Sam Rogers, it's the company's home track, as they are driving on the hood, as well as sponsoring the race, the Sagrento 500. So Sam wanting to give the team a great showing today, and he's doing so right now with the top 10. But as for Jay Durrel, rounding the final corner, Durrell will take the lead and pull away with it on the first lap, and that is a lap around Road America, about 2.5 minutes. As we come across the stripe. Only need to do that 17 more times. And oh boy, we have a lot of cars coming down pit road. A lot of Dodges. I believe one of them's Cody Smart, so I don't think that's how he wanted to start his week off. Ooh, and that's Addison Steinbeck, Haley Wish, James Johnson, and a 5th car. That's John Cittadino. So 3 cars, I believe, retired. And we're going to see exactly what happened. This is at turn 3, and yeah, just a pile up there. I believe I also saw Rick Witt. However, I could be wrong. Yeah, although Rick started in the back, so that probably was him. Now, there was a curious instant, to say the least, coming through this long tree line stretch. As you see, the 25 is actually holding up the 52, and when the 52 goes down, the 45 is there, and the 45 is going to put the 52 in the wall. 52 does not appreciate it, runs the 45 back into the wall, damaging himself with the 45 even more. So, surprising, there's no word on any penalties going on there, although I would have called that reckless driving. Both those cars retired. Or actually, John Cittadino kept going. Cody Smart retired and will finish last in his first ever Pennzoil Pro Series start. Probably not what he wanted to do for the team. But as for Jay Durrel, he's completely destroying the field on lap times right now as he's just continuing to pull away. However, Jack Newman may be able to put a little pressure on him. As we saw last week, Jack definitely had one of the strongest cars at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. However, he didn't really get to show it against Brian Boone after he got held up by Nikita Rizkov's car that had an engine expire. Speaking of Nikita, Nikita's running around the top, or just outside the top 10 actually, I believe in her 11th. Nikita, this is kind of in the story of his year so far, running up front. However, he would be very high in the points if he wasn't running 31st, and because of that, he has had 4 problems where he has been running top 15 and then dropped back because of a problem, whether it be engine, tire, like a mechanical problem, any sort of that, or being wrecked out in general. So the 16 team, they have been super quick, or lightning quick if you reference his paint scheme, but he just hasn't had the good finishes to prove for it yet. And Cittadino, you see, has been warned by NASCAR, not like, penalized or black flagged, just warned to watch his driving, especially on the first lap. So Cittadino, although there's not much of a point since he's literally all by himself out in the middle, behind the pack. Oh no, and the 99 just got dumped off the track by the NOS Ford of Nicholas Samudio. And that will end Daniel Voil's day. What happened here? And I don't believe I've seen a crash happen here before. Here's the 62 car. Gonna give the 99 a few shots and hooks the back bumper. I do not believe that was intentional, but the ASCA officials are calling the 62 to the hauler. And I believe they are making that strict because that was a battle for 6th, and Voiles probably isn't too happy about that one. And if you know Voiles, I'd be kind of scared if I was Samudio, as he might actually take you out after the race. However, obviously there's no car to take him out with this time. If anyone doesn't know, I'm referencing Pocono from Season 2 last year. But Durrell, you see, he was pulling away, and he still is a little bit, but Jack Newman is right there in the 7 car, and he's gaining just a little bit. I mean, we saw Jack Newman have a very strong car last week, and this week it does not look any different. The 7 car running right up with the 43. However, as it looks so far, the 43 is seemingly going to lead the rest of this race, because if the 7 car can get to him, I don't believe if he can pass him or not. However, Zach Cars, after the lap 1 incident, which he was involved in, he said his water pressure was rising, and they had to bring the car into pit road. Transmission failure would put Matthew Brown out of the race, and definitely not what he wanted to see, as he had high hopes coming into this race just to qualify bad and be out with a transmission issue. We're back looking at Sam Rogers here. Now, I don't think any of us can really say how good Malley Motorsports has been doing this year. If you remember, they were not even a contender most of this season last year. However, this season we have Eric Willis and Sam Rogers 2nd and 4th in points, and Addison Steinbeck was in the top 14 just a few races ago before the wreck at Canadian Tire. But as you see, we see our pit road cam here. We got cars coming down pit road. However, Derek Petrie stays out along with Nikita Rizkov and Cody Russell, as well as some other drivers further back in the field. But your main leaders like Jay Durrel, Jack Newman, Aaron Lukes, Kyle Singer, all are coming down pit road. We're going to have to see how this all cycles out and which strategy plays the best. But if there's one thing I'm actually paying attention to just a little bit more than anything else, is that we are pitting on lap 6. And that is divisible into 18, so we may see some fuel strategy come down into play. as we see Derek Petrie slowly creep down pit road. Now, since this track is so long, it's really hard to play the fuel mileage game, as everyone should come down at the same time, because this is a 2.5 mile track, so you may have trouble getting back around it just for one lap with a low tank of gas. But as you see, Derek Petrie's fuel strategy paid off, as he will maintain the lead out in front of Jay Durrel. And like I said, Jay Durrel I thought was going to just run away with this, but this is the one concern for Durrell's victory. He has to rely on his pit crew to get him there, and I'm sure he got it done, but it looks like Derek Petrie just had a better time being all alone on the track and made up some speed. However, as you see here, it's obviously not a problem for Durrell, as he's going to easily make it to the inside of Derek Petrie in one of the hardest places to pass, and going to take to the inside. Oh, he got a little loose there, and he's going to have to get out of the gas, and Jack Newman is actually going to take over that spot. And yeah, I was saying that wasn't a popular spot to make a pass, and Durrell obviously showed it there, as he got really loose going through that corner. But as we see Durrell hounding the 7 car now as they go up the hill past the start-finish line. It looks like Jack Newman's going to make a move, but as you see, we are halfway through the race, and you can see it on the right side of the board. Jay Durrel making a 3 wide on the inside, and this is what Derek Petrie tried. Durrell still has the quarter panel on him, and drag race down into turn 2. Who will get the best braking? Newman looks like will lose it to Derek Petrie. Can Durrell capitalize? He will. Durrell, I think, has got the position. Yes, he does. As he's going under the Sagrento bridge, he does take the lead. Watch this amazing move. As you see, Durrell onto the inside, and the 7 and the 53 car, they're battling, and they were caught completely off guard. And look at Ryan Dunn and Nicholas Smudio right behind there. It's 5 cars under a blanket. Incredible stuff here at the front of the field. And you see Durrell and Petrie trying to run off, but Durrell got the better drive off than Petrie did, and he will clear going down the straight and into the heavy braking zone. And you see Ryan Dunn's actually trying to make a move on Jack Newman back there. Derek Petrie, though, wants that spot back, pushing the back of the 43 car. However, the same lap, Joseph Strigley forgets where the brake pedal was and pounds his car into the back of Tony Green. And, well, I don't know what to say. That was a bit of a mind fade right there, as Strigley will go out of the race because of that incident. And the 43 car on 44 will receive just as much damage. However, he will continue. So, Global Autosports, I wouldn't call it a good day right now, as they're both experiencing troubles. Here's Nikita Rizkov for Red Viper Racing. He was one of the cars that actually stayed out the extra lap when it came down to pit strategy. However, if you remember, Derek Petrie was also one of the drivers that stayed out, and you saw how it affected him. Well, Nikita Rizkov is actually up to 7th now in the running order because of his move, as well as Cody Russell, who made it up to 9th. Now, I was talking about Ryan Dunn, and he's really not showing anything different right now. The 96 cars had kind of a sleepy run this year. I'm sure he didn't win last year at this point either, but I'm sure that 96 will pick up a win. He was the first driver to achieve 3 wins. I'm sure he'll get at least 1 win this season. And right now, with his third place run he's going right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he got it here tonight, if he can somehow get the 43 and the 53 out of his way. Here's 2 drivers, though, as you saw on screen. The 22 and the 08 car, Tinker Motorsports, has been taking a hit in points in the past few weeks. Lenning very fed up with his team. However, it looks like they're finally getting a good run here at Road America. Pit stops once again happening, except kind of curious as to why the 53 is coming down. And this is lap 12, so I am not sure. I believe these guys are going to have to make one more stop. However, Michael Jones and Jay Barker this time are the candidates to try to roll the dice. They saw it worked with the 16, 77, and 53 cars, so they wanted to try as well. However, there was this time only 3 cars wanted to try it. Everyone else came down pit road, so we're going to have to see where everyone cycles out, although I don't believe it'll make much of a difference in the battle for the lead, as those front 3 were pretty far back in the field. So you see Jay Durrel did end up getting out of pit road in front of Derek Petrie, so he will maintain the lead as those front 3 come to pit road. You see behind them, Ryan Dunn is kind of falling back a little bit. However, the 43 just continuing to pull away from the field. Here's Jesse Dalton, a little bit of mechanical issues. However, after 3 laps, they believe they've gotten it fixed. So they're going to try to get back on the track now. But 3 laps, they must have done a lot of repair work in that car. Here's Blaine Keys in the 60 car. He also had problems on pit road. There was something wrong with the tire. They don't believe the rim had anything to do with it, but for some reason they couldn't get the left rear tire off the car. And now they are half a straightaway back from the rest of the field, or half a course back, I mean. But you see, Derek Petrie just is not a match for the 43 car, and it looks like Durrell will go back-to-back here at Road America, just like we predicted. However, Derek Petrie, he is rating his crew. He was super tight, and he said, we lost the race. So Derek Petrie just pretty much giving up at this point, as his car has almost gone off into the sand at least twice. So that's why the 53 is falling back. And the 96 car is going to try to capitalize and get past the 53 car. And the 62, who was black flagged early in the race, that didn't slow him down at all, as he is right up there in the mix. I'm going to take a quick look back. The 47 and the 2 car, their pit strategy kind of worked out a little bit. They actually gained a few spots. However, the big winner there was the 00 car you see back there, not too far behind. The 00 wasn't even a thing when we were looking at the 43 and the 47 and the 2 car, but now he is. He's right there, and he's gained about 10 spots on that pit strategy. So great job at Nick Purcell's and his crew to get him out there and get an effective pit stop. But Zach Komoski, if you remember back to last week, Canadian Tire had a horrible run. It's not going to get much better, because he's going to blow a motor and going to suffer another week in a row. So road course is definitely not very nice to the team SFR, as Zach Carr's a couple laps down with damage, and now Komoski out of the race. Final lap is now in the air, so Jay Durrel just has to make it around the course with no problems. We saw the Dodge and Nikita Rizkov have problems late in the race. However, can it happen 2 races in a row? I don't believe we would get that lucky to see that happen, or that unlucky if you're Jay Durrel. You see Brian Boone, though, we haven't seen him all race, and that's because he's been running in the back, outside of the top 30 most of the race, and that's not going to help his points standings position. And Jose Viquez, who came in here with high hopes for another solid run, as he finished inside the top 3 last week. However, he was involved in that lap 1 scuffle, and now he is outside the top 30 as well. So both those drivers are going to fall deep in points after this race, especially Brian Boone, who was only 3 points ahead of 3rd and only 21 ahead of 4th. So he may drop a few positions, actually. Anyways, for Durrell, there will be no problems. Coming out of the final corner and going to go up the hill to see what he wants to see. His favorite flag, checkered flag again for the 2nd year in a row, will fly to the Australian painted car. And Jay Durrel will take the victory home. Fitzwater Australia Racing got 6 wins last year. Well, let's count there at 1 for this year so far. Still a lot of races to get those final 5, but this is definitely the way you start off a streak like we saw last year with a win. Jay Durrel will pilot the car to his first win of the year, and he blows the back tires off doing so. Jay Durrel in the winner's circle for this week. Derek Petrie, a hard-fought 2nd place, as his car was a mess at the end of the race. Ryan Dunn finished 3rd. Samudio 4th, we saw down the list. Here's 15th through 28th. You see, Zach Cars actually did manage to come back for a 27th. He stayed on the lead lap, but other than that, SFR had a horrible race. Transmission issues for Matthew Brown. Daniel Voiles probably mad at Samudio, and then Haley Wish, Cody Smart, and James Johnson all out of the race in that early lap 1 incident. Here are the point standings. Jay Durrel is now on top, 33 points in front of Boone. Jack Newman up to 3rd. Eric Willis down to 4th, and Ryan Dunn and Nicholas Samudio up to 5th and 6th. Great runs for them. And if you notice, 20th on down, you got to start watching those margins. And Daniel Voiles again finds himself on the outside looking in after another bad week. Anyways, that's all for now. In the Pennzoil Pro Series, we'll see you next week at Michigan. This is Colin on the AC League, signing out.